Welcome to my parlor. Welcome, traveler, to the Hidden Corner Finds. I am Joanne, and this is my humble store. Pull up a chair, stay a while, make yourself at home. What? Oh, you want to know what I'm selling? Everything and anything. In short, I have a passion for. Why did it just bleep me? All I said was, I have a passion for picking, I said. Yeesh. You can't say anything on YouTube these days without this censorship. Anyways, as I was saying, I have a passion for picking. For me, there is nothing more satisfying than finding a unique and forgotten item and uniting it with someone who will really appreciate it for years to come. Whether it's a soapstone carving, an old book, or simply a mug to make you laugh, I try and find something for everyone. My goal is to make you a confident buyer. Older items often have a lifetime of stories to tell. I strive to describe the good as well as the bumps and bruises they've experienced along the way. It's important that the pictures reflect what you will receive. To that end, I always encourage questions and will do my best to respond as quick as possible. Appreciate you stopping by the store. If you can't find what you're looking for, please don't hesitate to contact me. I'm always looking for new ideas and will keep an eye out for your item in my travels.
Honey, what the happened to my action figure collection?
Whoops, gotta go. Bye.
Hello and welcome back to Toy Thursday with Johnny Tiger on April 25th, 2024. I know this guy is not really a sight to behold. To open the video with a big muscular one-armed dude with a big machete. Kind of scary actually. But today we are celebrating International Penguin Day. It's a day for the penguin, and it is set on this day, April 25th, every year, because this is the date when penguins start migrating, or usually when they start migrating around this time of the year. Supposedly, this date dates all the way back to 1970, although records are kind of spotty, so it's kind of hard to find. But penguins are some really cool birds and really worthwhile to research and learn about and uh, take care of and celebrate. I still remember when I was like 10 years old and when I first came to Canada, my grade 4 class, we went to the local zoo and I actually got to pet a real living penguin. It was the cutest thing in the world. Like, I never even imagined it would feel so cute. I mean, in my head, I knew what a penguin kind of shaped like. I knew, they were kind of like, they were kind of bird. But, like, nothing prepared me for how fuzzy and plump and cute it was. Yeah, they're darn cute. Um, so why are we celebrating Penguin Day with a big, bald-headed, muscular dude that opened the video for us? Well, because this guy works for the Penguin. Yeah, I'm talking about the Penguin. You know, fat, little, ugly dude from Batman. And in the Arkham Batman series of video games, which I never played, and know actually very little about, this guy, his name is Mr. Sickle, because his weapon is a sickle. I mean, to me, that's more like a machete, but anyway, Mr. Sickle in the game is a henchman for Penguin. Uh, so I decided it's a good idea to open a show with this guy. And on top of that, he's actually uh, one of my really liked action figures. He was made by DC Direct, and from the Arkham video game toy line. And it's really well sculpted. Like the musculature on this guy I mean, of course, his articulation kind of sucks. That's a lot of DC direct action figures for, but his articulation and sculpt and design is just really cool. I mean, I'm always a bit partial to action figures and characters that have a disability, and so this guy being like a one-armed guy, just have that personal, a little bit of a more of a personal connection with me. So I always wanted the chance to show him off. We might do a individual episode with him and his brother, Mr. Hammer, someday. But for now, we have a look at Mr. Sicko, and then now we are going to bring our attention to his boss, the actual crime lord, the Penguin himself. Oswald Chesterfield Cobblepot. Yeah, I didn't make that up. That's actually his name. Oswald Chesterfield Cobblepot was born to the Cobblepot family. Yeah, okay. Why did I just say that? Anyway, the very influential Cobblepot family in Gotham City. The Cobblepot family have always had a long-standing rival against the Wayne family, aka Bruce Wayne, aka Batman. While the Wayne family was successful and always on the straight and narrow, the Cobblepot was always a little bit more on the shady side. And they saw the Wayne family as their rival and their competition, while the Wayne family didn't even know they existed. And this made them resent the Wayne family even more. So, at a very young age, uh, Oswald's father decided to put all his attention into defeating the Wayne family. So rather than spending time with his mutated, deformed son, he sent Oswald overseas to study in England while he put all his attention into making money and trying to outdo the Wayne family. And this created a very early resentment that Oswald had for anyone with the last name Wayne. While he was overseas studying in England, he got bullied ruthlessly in school because of his ugly uh, uh, look and small stature. So he decided to run away school and be spend more time on the street with the criminals. And it was there where he found true respect among the criminal elements. Now this doesn't even make sense to me. So like all I can say is whoever wrote this bio, whoever wrote the history of the character have no idea what the criminal underworld is like, what street life is like. Look, if you get bullied in school, at least there are some rules that can protect you. If you get bullied in school, you are going to get bullied on the street, especially among criminals. It doesn't matter, like, what kind of value you think you have. If you can't even defend yourself against bully in the schoolyard, you are not going to make it on the street. Johnny Tiger was living off the street and did hang out with some questionable people when I was younger, so I know that from first hand. Okay, if you can't make it in school and fight against your bullies, you're not going to make it very far in the street. So this nonsense about he ran away from school because of bullies and then he found respect on the street, that's pure BS. It doesn't happen that way. Okay. Uh, I just want to throw that in as a PSA. So any kids, any people who think that it makes sense, it doesn't. It just doesn't make sense. Um, anyway, it's comic book, it's a video game. So let's not get too bogged down by logic. So anyway, Oswald ran away from school and started spending time with the criminals, and he found true respect among the criminals. And then, pretty soon, he heard the news that his father passed away. And before his father passed away, his father almost bankrupted the family, trying to outcompete the Wayne family. So, coming back to America, coming back to Gotham City, Oswald uh, vowed to have his revenge on society, on the Wayne family. He was going to get respect from everybody. So he used his inheritance money and bought up the museum in Gotham City and the uh, restaurant attached to the museum, which is called the Iceberg Lounge. Get it? Iceberg Penguin. Yeah, you just all have to go together, right? So, on the opening night of the Iceberg Lounge and the new museum, the Penguin was so proud of himself, and he invited the Joker and Harley Quinn to be his special guest. Uh, why would you do that? Like, I, uh, I know you want to be like badass criminal mastermind, but hiring someone like Joker, who's like known to be unpredictable, is it's craziness. Like that, that was a miscalculation. And just as I predicted, yeah, I didn't really predict it because I know the story. So, during the party, during the opening celebration, one of the waitresses spilled the drink on Joker by accident, and in retaliation, the Joker killed the waitress by spilling acid on her face. And then, after trashing the club, Joker and Harley Quinn escaped the scene, and that started a long-standing rivalry and hatred between the Joker and the Penguin. Um, After buying the museum and the restaurant, the Penguin turned the restaurant into one of the most successful establishments in Gotham City, stocked it with booze and drugs and gambling and beautiful girls. And he constructed a gladiatory arena inside the museum, and he took criminals from the street and have them compete and fight to the death in the arena. And the ultimate winners would get to join his gang and work for him, and the losers would either get killed in the arena or get fed to his pet shark. In the museum, there's also weapon cache for his own people to use. The war room where he planned his uh, criminal activities, and there is a torture chamber. Unknown to a lot of people, under the Iceberg Lounge, there is a secret. There's a secret weapon that the penguin has been hiding there. One creature that is so horrifying and strong that most of the victims of the penguin, the disobedient henchmen or captured rivals, including Batman, get sent down the trapdoor to face their doom at the hand of this unnamed horror. Well, look at this horror near the end of the video, or you can probably catch a glimpse of it standing among the other figures I drafted to be the penguin's goon on the video. Now, this version of the Penguin came from the Arkham video games, and I mean, he basically looked like any other penguin, like long coat, top hat, small, fat guy. He holds a cane, an umbrella. But this version of the penguin is probably the scariest looking penguin. He has an angry expression, and he has a like a glass bottle that's embedded in his eye. Um, where did that come from? Well, one day during the gambling in the Iceberg Lounge, there was a fight that broke out, and one of the people that was involved in the fight smashed a glass bottle over the penguin's face, and the glass got lodged in his eye. And in retaliation, the penguin had his henchmen pluck out both of the person's eyes and send the person to wander blindly on the busy highway. Um, and unfortunately for the penguin, the surgeon told him that the bottle cannot be removed without killing him. So he is condemned to wandering around for the rest of his life with a part of a glass bottle embedded in his eye socket. I have always had a love-hate relationship with the Penguin as a character and an action figure. I hate the Penguin action figure because honestly, it's really boring. Like it's a small, fat guy in a top hat and coat. He can barely move. He has a small arms, small legs. You can't do much with him, and he doesn't come with any like cool accessories. You can't get him into any cool poses. Like overall, it's a like especially this version we are looking at today. It's by Todd McFarlane. Now, you guys heard me talk a lot of good stuff about McFarlane I have always been a big McFarlane fan, but this Penguin, uh, it's not that fun, and that's not McFarlane's fault. At least most of it is not, right? Lack of accessories and poorly designed coat and articulation, those could have been uh, fixed by him. But it's a penguin. There's not a lot you're going to get out of the character, no matter how you engineer the guy. So we can cut him some slack. But at least uh, the previous version of this penguin from Arkham uh, was made by DC Collectibles, and that one, yeah, it's not quite as articulated, but that's pointless. Like, again, it doesn't matter how articulated you make this guy. He's a brick. He's a round like potato with arms and legs, and there's not much he can do. Um, the previous one was DC Collectibles actually came with a cigar, and I think removable hat, um, along with his umbrella. So that's better than this version. This version only came with the umbrella and the body parts for the bonus trigger, and nothing else. Like, couldn't he at least give him like a soft, good coat, or interchangeable hands, or removable hat, or I don't know, a gun, something? Like, come on. The the Penguin is one of the biggest black market arms dealer in Gotham. He has a lot of gadgets, and there's definitely things that he can be equipped with. I still remember the first Penguin action figure I had as a child was the one made by Kenner. I believe it was 1992. And that one, even though, yes, it only had 5 points of articulation, it has a soft coat that you can remove. And what even more cool, it had a huge umbrella gun that when you wind it up, it will click into place and it's spring loaded. And also, when you push the button, the top of the umbrella will go fly across the room and spin super fast. That was like one hell of a cool toy. So there are ways to make the penguin fun, even though, yes, we are kind of limited by the character design. So that's kind of like my hate towards the penguin, is that the action figure, a penguin, it's really boring. But I also have this uh, weird fascination, or I sort of lean towards the character, because in a world where most of the heroes and villains are like gymnastic, acrobatic, and like martial arts expert. Here is a short, stubby, little, fat, ugly guy who become one of the most successful criminal underworld arms merchant and uh, gang lord. Like, I think that's really cool. I think, especially me growing up as a fat, blind kid, uh, who had a separate set of difficulties with families and schools and getting blend in with society. The Penguin, to me, is like a bit of a recognition by the people who make comic book, uh, that, yeah, you don't all have to be good looking, muscular, and have superpower to make it. You can be this little ugly fat guy, and because you have the drive and the smart, you can make it on the street. So I think, in a really weird way, it's almost like he's a positive representation of fat shaming and disability shaming and all that stuff. I say in a weird way because he's still a bad guy, and he's not. He's a very despicable kind of little annoying little bastard, and I don't like the character, but I like what the character can potentially uh, represent. Let's put it this way. Okay, enough about my personal thing with a penguin. My personal thing with penguin, that just doesn't sound right. This is not going to take that long because this figure, there's not much to say about him. Okay, the Uh, I think the details is what the most impressive. We have the hat, of course. Put your hand down. And the head actually has pretty decent movement. You can look down. I mean, you can't really look up because the back of his hat here is buffing up against the collar of his coat. Uh, so he can't really look up that good, but he can go side to side pretty well. Uh, Arms are impressively double jointed, although the double joint is kind of ugly on the elbow. Um, but at least because of the long sleeve of his coat, it hides that ugly ball joint that McFarlane put on their figures. So that at least is compensated for. Uh, and he comes with his umbrella right here, which kind of like look like some kind of stabby weapon. Maybe it can be. I don't know. So in some stories, he has a gun in his umbrella. So I don't know if this is the case here. And he has a bit of a balance problem. He keep wanting to tip backward unless you push his center of gravity, push his butt back, and lean his body forward a little bit. Um, the arm has decent movement at the shoulder, can go in and out, so he can get some interesting poses with his umbrella. Umbrella doesn't open, however, which is, I think, another missed opportunity. Like, if you, hey, he just fell over. If you can't think of another accessory for this guy, why not you have a open version of the umbrella or an umbrella gun or an umbrella sword or something like that? He has used all those stuff in the past. The coat has really nice textures around the fur and the collar, on the sleeve, the back of the coat. There's even this pocket on the side, not functional, of course. Uh, Unfortunately, it's not removable, and yet it is a rubber overlay that go over the torso underneath. And this is a lousy design because this makes him unable to move his torso. Like the torso is just so restricted. His leg can't really move either because the coat is restricting the leg, the thigh movement, the hip movement. So I think he might have double jointed knee, maybe not. No, I don't think so. Um, but effectively, most of the leg joints are pointless because you can't get him to sit down. You can't get him to kneel or crouch because of the way the coat is. So this is definitely one of those action figures that I think would benefit from a soft coat, a soft good coat. And it's been done way back in 1993, so it should have been done here. Um, Other than that, what else can I tell you about this guy? There's really not much to say. If you want a good looking penguin, he's not bad. I mean, he's a little bit scarier than how you usually see him in comic book and cartoon. But it definitely, like you take one look at this guy, you know it's a penguin. So you can think of it. This is a penguin that suffered some grievous tragedy in his life, which he had. Having a glass bottle smash into your eye can be very tragic. Um, but if you're looking for a fun action figure, he's not it. I mean, I'm trying to review the guy, and I barely know what to say. Like, there's not a heck of a lot to say other than, yeah, his arms move pretty good, his head moves pretty good. He comes with the umbrellas, and the texture and the details are pretty good, and that's about it. Um, I'm going to pull the camera back so we get a wider view of him standing back there with his gang. We have some stand-in. You can say we have some uh, uh, goons, hired goons here that really aren't associated with Penguin, but because I needed to fill his rank, so I brought in some of these guys. But we definitely have Mr. Sickle back here, so he can stand beside his boss, who just fell over. And they do, even though they're from different makers, they do pose really nicely together. These two, and then I'm going to bring in the horrifying creature that he keeps under the Iceberg Lounge and feed his victims to. We have Solomon Grundy, the undead zombie dude, like like an undead Incredible Hulk, right here. Now, a lot of people say that this Solomon Grundy is way too small. Um, Having never been a big fan of Solomon Grundy and never really been able to see the comic art myself and never played the Arkham game, I don't really know if he is too small, but he is big. Like he's almost the Hulk size, not quite, but almost. And I mean, Solomon Grundy is basically a guy who got killed and gets reanimated as a zombie. So even if he was a big guy, he can't be like a giant. Like he has to stay in human limitation. That's my logic. So I think if we go by that, he's big enough, especially standing next to Mr. Sickle and the Penguin here. He definitely doesn't look too small to me. Now we'll bring in the two extra hired goon. Uh, we have Marv from Sin City. I think he kind of fits the bill because in Sin City he kind of works for as a bouncer for a nightclub. So who's to say that can't be the Iceberg Lounge for the Penguin? And just because we are going to bring in this figure of Steven Seagal, I wonder how many of you didn't know that this figure existed. That's an action figure of Steven Seagal from Above the Law, and I think he look very cool as as a background thug. If you want a background thug with a gun, he fits in very well. So I think that as we can tell, the come on, I barely touched you, and we got a domino effect. 1 second, we got a bit of a crisis going on here, and penguin. Yeah, this penguin is very annoying. Like when you try to get him to stand, and again because his ankle articulation are very restricted by his pant leg, so you can't even adjust his ankles that good for him to not tip over backward like that. Uh, so we have yeah. So the penguin, fittingly look a little bit small and shorter than these guys beside him, which makes sense. He's always been a small, pudgy guy. So I think scale-wise, this penguin is okay. If anything, I actually think he's too big. I think he should be maybe like even a little bit smaller, but uh, it works. It works. So again, if you are a fan of Penguin and you want a nice solid Penguin, and he's really cheap too. Sometimes you can find him online for like $12, and for that, he's a great representation of the character. Very solidly built, very heavy. Uh, if you throw him at someone, you can probably hurt them. Uh, uh, and easy to obtain. No, that he's very available, very cheap, very available, very well built. But if you want one that is posable and stuff like that, nah, he's not. He's not that cool. He doesn't come with a lot of accessories or options. But displayed with some criminal elements on your shelf, he has a pretty nice present to him. So that's it, folks. Shorter episode today. We'll be back tomorrow for some Fitness Friday. For now, thank you again for being here to indulge in my geeky passion.